First thing on the agenda today, before I cut up this largest log, which will be a good test to see if tightening the belt stopped the shaking. First thing we're going to do, as I promised, is turn down the idle. High idle engages the centrifugal clutch on the power stroke, and it goes ping, 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 ping at a frequency I can hardly hear, but it wears out the clutch. Finally decided that, or realized that people who keep commenting that my idle's too fast, they know what they're talking about, and I don't. So, screws in there. I think it's that little Phillips right in there, I hope. And we'll get this thing fired up. See if we can turn it down. I'll leave my earplugs out so that I can perhaps hear it. Okay, gasoline we've got, I think, filled it at 20 hours, 22, okay, yeah, half a tank. Tighten the tension. I know it's got oil in it. Here it goes. No earplugs. I'm not going to like this. Okay, you guys hear it. That's as low as it'll go. I don't hear a thing. I'll turn it up so you don't hear it. I think that's good. Get a little bit of shaking. The mill stopped rolling, and I couldn't figure out why. The clamp got past here, won't get past there. I hope to crank it into the wood far enough to get the additional 1/4 of an inch I needed to get past. The only way I could get clearance was to put the clamp lower on the log. Another obstacle. The mill head won't get past the flare on the end of the log. Doing 1/2 engine hours on that blade, but it is dull. None of these teeth will catch my thumbnail. Wipe the old blade down with oil. Wipe the oil and sawdust off of this one. This one has not had the benefit of running on the mill since I added a blade scraper, and it is pretty gunky, crusty. Don't know how I got it through the sharpener. But these teeth will scratch my thumbnail. If I'd been able to find any of the 3 tripods I have around here somewhere, I'd have given you a much better angle of this. Preliminary spacing is good. That is, I can just feel the blade on the back of the wheel. But until I crank it up some, won't know anything. There's just a little bit of tension on it. It's going to rub where it shouldn't. Okay, so it makes contact there. Half, 1, half, 2, half. After tensioning the blade, I turn it through in the direction of normal travel by hand a few times, check for tracking, listen for rubbing. Do not hear it rubbing, but I do see it scraping off crud. I modified the scraper a little. I cut this corner off because when pushing hard and the blade rides back a little, this was getting up past the gullet. I think I overdid that because I'm not getting up to the full edge, but we'll see. Common thought is you should always approach your cutting height from below to get all the tension out of the cables. My contention is it doesn't matter because of all the vibration and the weight of the mill head. It's going to settle and take all the slack out anyway. So what I thought I'd do is try it both ways. I just came up from below. I'll start the cut, back out, and then come in from above and see if the blade goes into the same place. I think it probably will. But believe it or not, I've been wrong before. For this experiment, first I set blade height coming up from below, lifting the weight of the head. I made a cut into the end of the log, backed out, reset blade height coming from above to see if it would make any difference as to where the blade entered the log. The setting on the log scale is exactly the same as before. But that doesn't really make any difference in this experiment because the log scale rides the mill head. What will be the telling point is if the scale reading shifts downward as the cut proceeds. After the cut was finished, I checked the scale. The line had not moved even a hair. So, unless someone can demonstrate otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, it makes absolutely no difference whether you come to your cutting height from above or from below. After struggling to get the cant square and clamped, I discovered that one end is 2 inches bigger than the other end, so I need to raise the front end 1 inch to make it even. I didn't want to have to release the clamps to do that. I used one of the oldest machines in the world, a lever and a fulcrum. Well, that's not quite square, at least not on this. Not quite square here either. I've got a wedge. It's probably not fine enough on the tip. Okay, what do I need to do here? I need to back that up just a smidgen. Looks square to me. We'll call that square right there. Yeah, this one is not worth resawing. So this is 11 and a half, so I can get nominal 2x12s. I can get 6 2x12s. Or if I can't. Never know when you might need 2x12s. You don't often have the opportunity to get. I'm going to roll that back over this way. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? I think I will roll it back over this way. After I get it out from under the saw. There. That might not be as right as I thought. I wanted to roll at 90 degrees and have the side next to the stops up. I decided maybe that wasn't such a bright idea, as I would likely roll the cant off on my toes, so I raised the stops and turned it once toward them. The right way. The smart way. It didn't really matter which side was on top and which on bottom. Square cants don't roll, so you don't need tall log stops. Remember a few minutes ago when I was fiddling around with a wedge in an attempt to get the cant square? Well, it was square, and the wedge made it unsquare. It looked a little off even to the naked eye. That's side square. This side square. and measure up to 10 and almost a quarter, 10 and more than a quarter. This side's high. I'm glad I rolled it this direction. First thing we'll do is even it up. Trimming off the uneven side left only 10 3/8 inches. I wanted 10 1/2, but 10 3/8 was all I could get. This cut shows how uneven and wavy the previous cut was. I really do need to sharpen blades soon. The throat on this mill is only 6 inches, so every now and then I have to stop and remove boards from the cant. Problem with shaking? Dull blade, period. Okay, now these planks are going to go over here as soon as I move the tar paper. Tape measure, a clamp and some bungee cords. I'd been looking for that or any tape measure all afternoon. There are 3 more in there. I'll get them tomorrow. It's getting late. It's getting cold. Nice 8-foot 2x12s. Sure they'll come in handy for something. Now it's almost 5 o'clock. I will take the tension off the sawmill and call it a day. I think I can say with reasonable certainty, 2.5 and it's slack. Reasonable certainty that the cause of the shaking is the mill bucking against the dull blade. Setting up harmonics. I was testing sharpness with my fingertip. No, use the back of your thumbnail. If the tooth won't catch on your thumbnail, it's not sharp. But that's enough for today. It's not going to rain tonight. I don't have to put anything away. Don't know why that got out of square. Maybe I overcorrected. Maybe I put that little wedge in there too far. Who knows? It doesn't matter in the greater scheme of things anyway.